All right, what's up, everybody? Today I'm making a video on how to do the using census data assignment. So to get started, we're going to go on Canvas under the assignments, the using census data, and we're going to want to download this and work inside of Word. So there's a couple things you could do as a TC, if you want to use the Word document here, is if you already have Word installed on your computer, you can download it, work directly in Word. You can also, if you don't have Word installed on your computer, you have access to it as a TCNJ student. So if you log in to your TCNJ account from Microsoft Office 365, you'll be able to directly get access to Word. You'll be able to install Microsoft Office 365 apps. So this is a link on Canvas, and you can also Google it, find it here. Make sure you're on a TCNJ official website, though. The other alternative I'll show you here is that we could, after we download this file, we can also just do it inside of Google Docs. So we can go to Google Docs, and we can create a document, and go to File, Open, and then Upload. So File, Open, Upload. I'll try it a little slower. File, Open, Upload. And we can find it. And we upload the file directly here. And you can work from Google Docs. Now I'm gonna work from Google Docs just so that I could share the example. And I'll share this on Canvas. One note I want to make, though, is that you should not submit on Canvas directly as Google Doc. Instead, when you finish the assignment, you're going to go to File, Download as a Microsoft Word document. You'll download it here, and that will be what you submit to Canvas. Okay, so in this assignment, we're using census data to answering the following questions about the zip code that you call home. It could be where you currently live, where you grew up, where your parents live, where your family lives, where TCNJ, if that's the closest thing to home for you, whatever it is that you would call home. So we're going to use as an example here some map of TCNJ zip codes. Let's use somewhere that's right near Canvas, right near TCNJ. We'll use 08648. That's Lawrence Township, I believe. Right, TCNJ is right around here. So we'll use instead of using the actual Ewing, we'll use Lawrence Township. So 08648. So we're going to use census data. And to get started here, we're going to come to our census data. So the census is a U.S. government agency that collects data on people living in the United States. We talked a bit about this in class, but just to give you a brief overview, there's a few different types of surveys that the census uses. The first is the traditional census. This is the first thing written in the Constitution, that the U.S. will count how many people there are, basic information on them every 10 years. This is a literal census, an actual, like the term from the textbook census is information on every single person that is living in the United States. It's collected every 10 years, and it's what's used to apportion votes, for example, for the House of Representatives and um, the Electoral College and other, and so it's done every 10 years. The census also has the American Community Survey, which is a sample that it gathers every year. And it also has some other surveys, like the American Housing Survey, which instead of looking at people as the unit of analysis, it looks at houses as the unit of analysis. So that one you can use to look at the housing stock of an area. We're gonna look. This search bar is going to allow us to look at all of these different types of sources of data. So I just looked up the data set. Of course, I already forget the name of it. Lawrence Township zip code. 08648, this was the one we used. So we're going to type in our search bar, or first we're going to go on the left here, we're going to census tract. Come down to New Jersey, 08648. Oh, I'm sorry, with this, not census tract, we're in zip codes. And now we'll go to New Jersey. 648, put that into our search bar. And we're going to get this zip code right here. This is going to have a series of information about the zip code, and it's going to load up right here as well. So first things first, what we could do is just click this View Profile button. This is going to give us a bunch of summary information. And in fact, many of the questions that are asked in the assignment can be found right in this summary. So in Lawrenceville is a population of 3,109 and 31,955. This was as of the 2020 decennial census. A 62% employment rate. This is the proportion of people that are employed. I believe the way the census will calculate it is among all people of a working age population, but it might actually just be among all people generally, or all people 18 or over. We could dig into that a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be we could dig into that particular rate because it's one of the questions that we'll have in the assignment. But around $118,000 is the median household income. There's around 12,770 total units. There's 11,000 families. So notice the units and households are different things, right? 60% of folks in Lawrenceville have a bachelor's degree. Wow, that's really, really high. 5% do not have health insurance, and around a little under 4,000 are of Hispanic or Latino. I don't know why it gives that as the one summary, but that's what we got. So here's our age pyramid and et cetera down the line. So we see here the most common age seems to be, there's a lot of men between the age of 50 and 54, which is interesting. But all right. So you can dig through this, and I recommend you read through all of this so to get a sense of some of the questions, and this will also help you to answer some of the questions that are already in the assignment. So we're going to fill this one in here. 648, 648. And let's go through the questions. So what is the population that is under 18 years old? Okay, so we saw this earlier. There's a few spots we can find this. We saw this one right here, which has, we can add up everyone who's under 18. Now, if you could add up those who are 15 to 19, I would count this. This would be okay. You can do 1506 plus 1173 plus 1052 plus 1079 plus 726, blah, blah, blah. We can get that way. We can also keep searching and see if we can find a better measure here. And we can also try searching. And back to our tables here, like demographics. So this is our five. We can use the this estimate here. And 18 and over. Do we have it under 18? No. What did I ask for? I asked for 18, under 18. So what we could do this also, there's 20, we know there's 21,760 that are over, and a total population of 31,142. We could do 31,142 minus 21,760. Get 9,382. So there are 9,382 folks in this township that are under the age of 18. Wait, this is the citizen population. Good catch here. We don't want the citizen population. We want the, oh, there it is. I know it was somewhere. Under 18, 5,978. Now, what you should do here now is we want to take a screenshot, something to show where you got this information from. So we can use our snipping tool that is on Windows. As Mac, you can take a full screenshot as well. But you just want to show what table you got it from, what table you got it from, like where did you get this piece of information from. The more information you give here, the better, especially if I'm not able to figure out where you got it from, because there are different different ways or different places where each of these different pieces of information from. Okay, so next is what percent of the population is foreign born? Let's see if this one's here. I'm not sure if it's gonna be as foreign born on this one. Again, the total population. Let's see. Nope. Under this one. Employment, housing, health, families. Might be under race. Let's see. Yep, nothing but citizen status there. So let's try in the search bar. Search bar for foreign. See if we can find the foreign born. One. Search. Here we go. Foreign born population. Check we're still in the right zip code. This is the proportion of those who entered 2010 or later. So there are 8,000 folks in this township that are foreign born, and 2,000 of them have come to the United States. I'm not sure if this has entered. I believe this entered the United States. It might be entered Lawrenceville, but around 2,000 of them have entered since 2010. So 8,008, and we want a percent. So we're going to take that. We're going to divide it by the total population. Those who are not foreign born. Everyone here. Sorry, is there foreign born number here on this one? Make sure it matches. Divide here by total population 31142. And we want a percent. So we're going to multiply this by 100. We're at around 26%. Around 26% population in Lawrenceville are foreign born. Seems pretty high. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's move on to the next question. Again, don't forget to show where you got these numbers from. So ideally, you'll find these numbers from the same table, but in this situation, we had to use two tables. So make sure you're showing both of the tables. So you take this screenshot here. And this one here to show where we got the total estimate right here. And there are multiple ways to show where you got it from, but just make sure you're showing where it was. Okay, median family income. This one's an easier one. We saw this right on our summary here at the top. 118.36. So we'll take this screenshot right here. Again, make sure that this screenshot you have here shows the zip code, right? The 08648. This one here. Make sure that's visible. How many grandparents are living with their own grandchildren? Okay, so let's see if we can find on this. So we want to get rid of these topics here on the search bar. We want to find grandparents. I wonder if this, maybe look, there's a topic for grandparents, grandchildren. Ah, look, there's a whole section on grandparents. Think of that. So how many grandparents are living with their own grandchildren? You want to know. Grandparents living with their own grandchildren under 18. We're still in the right zip code. There are 323 grandparents who are living with their own grandchildren. So 3, 2, 3. What percent of households have an income in the last 12 months that exceeds $100,000? So you can find on this one, I believe we saw an income distribution where it wasn't just average income or median income, but it showed what percent of households make income in various categories. Here we go. This is home ownership. Great. Oh, maybe not that one. Let's get rid of our grandparents and grandchildren. Filters. Let's try searching for income. And here we go. We're in our right zip code. This is by household income, right? Make sure we have household income exceeds 100,000. Exceeds 100,000. So it's going to be this. All of these numbers here combined. So 19.9 plus 14.4 plus 24 point. This is 58.7. This is a very wealthy community. 58, we're 58.7% of households in Lawrence have a population, have an income that exceeds 100,000. The median income in the United States for a household is closer to 70,000. So this is a very, very wealthy community. Okay, how many owner-occupied houses do not have a mortgage on their home? So I want to make sure we're looking at owner-occupied houses and no. Oh yeah, make sure we get a screenshot here to show where we got that from. How many owner-occupied houses do not have a mortgage? Okay, so let's maybe try searching mortgage. Might not be. Here we go. With a mortgage. So this is there's two tables here. One is with a mortgage, one is without a mortgage. We want to know how many owner-occupied houses do not have a mortgage on their home. So we want to look at financial care housing units without a mortgage. So here we go. Owner-occupied housing units without a mortgage. This is how much those houses are worth. So there are 2,510 houses in Lawrenceville that do not have a mortgage. What is the most common industry for the civilian employed population? Civilian employed means non-government workers, not people not in the work for the government, don't work for the military. They're civilian employed, the most common industry. Maybe under employment. We'll try going this. We'll try using some of these search bars over here, which can be really helpful to help you find things if you're trying to find you're struggling a little bit to find something. So we can go to, if you go to employment industry. Sometimes you may not use the right search word, so you could try using those bars on the left to specify. Uh, industrial occupation for the civilian employed workforce. Let's see what this is. This is industrial occupation for the civilian employed population aged 16 and older. So here are the different industries here that are included as civilian employed. So there's still 659 folks who work in public administration that are civilian employed. These could be contractors or perhaps folks who work don't work directly for the local government, but work in administration one way or the other. So it looks here around 16,000. What's the question? What is the most common industry for civilian employed population? So the most common industry for the civilian employed population, we'll look for the one that has the most people in it. Looks to be here: educational services, healthcare, and social assistance. This seems to be the most common industry among everyone here. Okay. There's quite a few colleges and universities right around in Lawrenceville, but the College of New Jersey, Rider University, Princeton University. So it seems like this area has and also quite a few hospitals, etc. This is the most common industry. Let's get a screenshot. What percent of the population does not have health insurance? We saw that on the summary, I believe. If I remember correctly. Yes, we did. 5%, 5.1% do not have health insurance. And make sure I'm showing the zip code. If you're ever not sure of how much information to put into your screenshot, just put the more the better. I'd rather have you put enough than not enough. What percent of the population is non-Hispanic white? I think we may have had on that might have been on this this base one here. See if we can find non-Hispanic white. Something to do with race or ethnicity. Asian, Hispanic, Latino. Yeah, this is white alone and not Hispanic or Latino. So I mentioned this briefly in class, but race and ethnicity in the census are two separate questions. So first they ask you, what is your race, with answers such as white, black, Asian, American Indian, and I believe other. And the second, Hispanic or Latino, is not considered a race, it is an ethnicity. So then they'll next ask is, are you Hispanic or Latino? So this white alone, not Hispanic or Latino, means these are the people that answered that they're white for their race, and they said they're not Hispanic or Latino. There are actually many folks that identify as both Hispanic or Latino and also white. And also there's Hispanic or Latino, Black, Hispanic or Latino, Asian, etc. A little less common, but still are combinations that are possible. So especially there are many folks who identify as white and Hispanic and white and Hispanic. Many folks identify as Hispanic who also identify as white. So this is the count of folks who are white alone, not Hispanic, in this zip code 17508. What was the total population again? We did this earlier. So 31,000. That's 31,000. So it's a little more than half are non-Hispanic and white. Okay. All right. Let's find the median rent. And we'll come back here. We'll try to search, see if we can find if rent will give us much. Housing characteristics, okay. Good room, bedrooms, housing tenure, and when they moved in, how they get their house heated, electricity, gas. It's the value of the units. Occupied units paying rent. What's our question again? Median rent. Their median rent in dollars is 1953. This is showing the number of people paying the given number of rents. So there are 149. So this is the total number of units that are paying rent. There are 3,470 housing units where there's a resident paying rent. And at 149%, 149 of these units, they're paying less than $500 in rent. So these folks are very lucky or stuck in the 1980s. Meanwhile, there are 200 houses that are paying, or units, where the rent is $3,000 or more. The median rent, so median is where 50% of houses rent for more than this, or 50% of units rent for more than this, and 50% of units rent for less is $1,953. What percent of workers work from home? This is an interesting one. This might require a little bit of creativity. You can't just type work from home. Let's see if remote will do it. Good commuting to work. Work from home. Oh, that was quick to find that. What's it asking percent? Okay. So there are a total of 1,560 workers who 17. Why is this different? For folks who are under the age of 16, I suppose is that difference. This is it also might just be a difference in the survey that this was asked in. This might be from the 2023 data. All right, so there are 15,660 workers who are 16 and older, and there are 4,160 of them that work from home. So 4,160 divided by 15,660. This is going to give us around 27%. Around 27% of workers in Lawrence work from home. That's a pretty high number, much less not much less traffic that must lead to. All right. Civilian employed. That's where we're seeing the description earlier. Okay. What is the unemployment rate? This is the percent of people who are in the labor force and not currently employed. The unemployment is defined as not having a job and looking for work. So we didn't want the employment rate. That was what we saw earlier, right? We saw the employment rate. This is that's not what we wanted. We want the unemployment rate. So it'd be a little bit different number here. So let's first see if we can get the unemployment directly. Employment status. This is the number of folks that are in the labor force. So notice here that those who are in the labor force, they could either be actually employed or they could be unemployed. In the labor force means you're currently working or you're looking for a job. Unemployed means that you're not currently working and you're looking for a job. Folks who are not currently working and not looking for a job are considered not in the labor force. So this is a trickier one where this is the unemployment rate is particularly calculated to exclude people who are not looking for work. That's why students, people who are parents who stay at home with the kids, retired people, they are not included in the unemployment rate. Similarly, people are also not included in the unemployment rate are people who gave up on looking for a job. People who looked for a job for years or decades even were not able to find a job, would not be considered in the unemployment rate. So to find our unemployment rate, we're going to take 1,031 divided by 1,690. We're going to get an unemployment rate of around 6.4%, which is actually relatively higher than the U.S. unemployment rate right now, which is at a historic low. U.S. unemployment rate, should show correctly. Yeah, it's around 4.1% in the United States. It's at an extreme low right now. Has it? So interesting. Okay. Take our screenshot here. Not an all-time low, but at over the last 20 years, unemployment rate right now is very low. We're circling where we're getting the numbers from here. Oh, wait a second. Did I? I made a mistake. No, I knew that sounded wrong. The correct denominator should have been 1690 plus 131 or 121. That would make sense. We're looking at a very wealthy community. It would make sense that it has a unemployment rate that goes that much higher, but still is above average. So that's 6% of an unemployment rate, so 6.0%. And press share. Okay. Last question. Find a chart or figure you think is especially interesting. Paste the chart below and describe what it is and what it says about the place that you call home. So this one, you have a lot of flexibility on how you answer this question. But what I recommend you do is don't just pick the first one you see. Actually go through the tables and see if you find something that is interesting. Try that you find particularly interesting. So try going to filters, maybe search through some of these surveys of things you find. So you try like families living arrangements. Maybe that's something interesting. You could look at something regarding I have an extra. Yeah, get rid of that industry code. There's some stuff on household, maybe stuff on marital family characteristics. Marital status by grandparents. Potentially interesting here. Let's see if we can find something on household side by number of workers. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what is interesting in a video. I'll let you play with that. But there's quite a few stuff here that you may be surprised to see. I'll see if I'm going to find one that is here we go. Same-sex couples. Show one that's a little. So where'd it go? Search that. Where'd it go? Control. I just saw that. Where'd it go? There we go. Unmarried partner households. That's interesting. So in Lawrenceville, there are 0 households with a male householder and a male partner. Something about this seems different. Oh, that are unmarried. So there are no specifically households. Yeah, there are no households where with unmarried gay couples. Wait, about 335 unmarried. I may want to dig into this a little bit. Something about that doesn't seem right. Maybe it is. This is as of the decennial census. This one I probably trust a little more. So this is from the ACS, which is just a survey. So what this meant is based on their survey, they didn't have any unmarried any unmarried male gay couples. But in the decennial census, which actually collects data on every single person, that's where they're more likely to have a generalizable survey. This is a good little tip on generally why the ACS is less reliable for characteristics that are very rare in the population, because they're, especially if they're not stratified to represent, if the sampling strategy is not stratified to represent that characteristic. For example, there are strata for race, ethnicity, and gender and education in the American Community Survey, but I do not believe that they stratify for same-sex couples. So we wouldn't expect perhaps that that characteristic being very rare, it may not be as accurate. And you see this here with these much larger margin of error. So it's saying it could be fairly confident, it could be much higher or lower than this. Or not, can't be lower than 0, but yeah. Well, there's no right or wrong thing with what is interesting. Just find something that you think is interesting, or especially if you think it was surprising. It's that could be a fun thing to look at. Well, I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed the assignment and learning more about the place that you call home. Please let me know if I could do anything to make this video more future videos more helpful or better, more improved, easier for you to navigate. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.